Hey doing everyone, it's Juan Romero here from SwitchWatch. I'm back with another review. This is Inertial Drift on the Nintendo Switch. Now there's always been something about arcade races which have appealed to me. The usual casual nature of being able to get into a race and have fun either with friends online or in split screen. And I always loved games back in the day like Outrun and then Ridge Racer. This week we have two arcade races both dropping on the Nintendo Switch that aim to get our hard-earned cash. But is this one worth your time and money? Let's break it down. I want to get into the gameplay and start with those controls because Inertial Drift has a very different control scheme to what you're used to. Let me just say at first it's going to take some getting used to. In all intents and purposes, this is a twin stick racer. The left stick is used to control the direction slightly of the vehicle, and each vehicle will vary as to how much you can move that vehicle left and right. When you begin the tutorial, you'll see the movement is very limited, not even enough to get you around a corner without crashing. The real fun here is in the drifting, and to do that you use the right stick to control the drift angle. As soon as you hit the stick left or right, you can control the vehicle's drift and the angle of that drift. At the same time, you'll need to control acceleration through corners using ZR, and for even more really tight angles, you'll use ZL to brake and get round those corners. And once you get the hang of it and into a rhythm, it feels quite natural and really great actually. And my only wish was having more control of that acceleration. Unfortunately, as the Switch uses digital triggers, you can only accelerate at either full pelt or nothing, and well, this game would have benefited for me anyway from having an analog trigger in my opinion, but we know that the Switch is limited in that regard. It is what it is, and well, it's still heaps of fun in the modes available. I recommend to anyone that when they start to go through the tutorial to get a feel for the game and then jump into that story mode. In story mode you can pick a car and a character suited to your driving skill, although the character is locked to the particular vehicle. For example, if you choose Edward as I did, you get a nimble and responsive vehicle with good acceleration and handling but pretty poor top speed. The benefit is that the car is simple to drift. Just by pushing the right stick a little bit left or right, the car will start to drift, whereas another vehicle will require the use of the brake first to initiate a drift or even letting go of the acceleration. So there is going to be a car here to suit differing driving requirements. I really liked Ada and her vehicle, the Coda Gecko, which had pretty good stats all the way through. A nice and easy vehicle to get to grips with and get acquainted with. In total there are 16 cars to unlock, and each is very individual, which I liked a lot. It's something I massively appreciated. There's nothing worse in my opinion than having a racing game like this, unlocking different vehicles, but they all are rather like skins, they just drive the same. With that, there are 20 tracks to take part throughout, which is enough to keep players occupied with mastering each one. And once you complete the story mode, you'll be able to unlock extra crispy difficulty, which makes it all the much tougher to complete the number of differing challenges story mode will throw at you. I preferred original mode, which was just right for my skill level. In story mode, you'll learn a little bit more about each character you have chosen, and they'll chat to other racers. It's a nice experience for me, though it was all about getting into the races, but I did appreciate the effort. In story mode, this is really aimed at getting you to grips with all the game has to offer. You'll race in time trials against another racer, take part in style events which require you to drift as much as possible, going as quick as you can and skimming your car against the sides. All the while you're having to do these sort of tricks to get those extra juicy points. This is the risk versus reward part, where if you go too hard and you crash, most of your points are lost, so that's quite frustrating. You can say goodbye to that gold medal you were hoping for. There's also Ghost Battle, and what I love about being able to see the other vehicles is they leave behind a trail of light as they go around a corner. You see that and you know that you're on their tail. The game felt pretty balanced, and what spurred me on even more was the fact that times are logged on the online leaderboards in arcade mode, which means that you can sort of boast to all your mates once you hit that top 10. It's one of those first racing games where no matter how much I practiced, I never seemed to be quite good enough to get near some of the times being posted. The game is more of a challenge than you initially expect. Getting that perfect drift angle is more difficult than you think, because the more angle you put in, the slower your drift is going to be. Inevitably, the perfect angle and finding that angle to get around those corners is the key. Once tracks start getting more twisty, it really becomes a case of practice makes perfect, and getting to know those tracks is essential, while also honing that technique, which is really, really important. The story is easy enough to complete, took me less than a day, but if you want gold and everything, then of course you're going to have to put a lot more time in. You'll be taken across lakeside loops, snow mountains, sprint all the way to Mount Crino. To unlock more stuff though, you'll need to take part in challenge mode, where you'll be able to unlock more cars and characters by completing the challenges such as gaining 8,000 points in Drift Challenge or winning a race and beating the time. These are very fun to do, especially with the rewards on offer. An arcade mode is where a lot of time will be spent after story mode, where you'll be taking part in custom events and posting those scores to those leaderboards, which is rather addictive. Grand Prix is where you'll need to prove you've mastered your vehicle by taking it into a series of 5 grueling challenges, and you have to complete them all. We then have the return of split screen, where you can race against another player locally, and the same online. All in all, the package is rather complete, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. My only small gripe is the fact that you can only race against one other player. I would have loved to have seen a total of 4 at least. However, on the other side of the coin, it does mean racing against one other feels very focused, and the game runs all the smoother because of it. All in all, I was very pleased with the gameplay aspects of Inertial Drift. It feels fast enough and is enough of a challenge to keep players entertained. The only thing against it is it does feel a tad lonesome at times, and this is purely because it does feel like the game was created to race against the clock and not so much other people. So some will like that, others will not. I love games where you can post times, so for me it's all about getting that techers down and improving that technique each time you play. Visually and performance wise, well, visually and conceptually, I like the look of this game. There's a lot of good use of light, and when starting that car up for the very first time and the lights turn on, it just looks so damn cool. The cars themselves all look really good and have the ability to change the car's colours if you like. You will be driving through the lakeside, then the coast for a gorgeous sunset showdown. And I loved the use of lighting throughout. When the car in front of you is driving through the corners and leaving that trailer light behind, it just looks really good. The performance of the game feels good and quick, not too much slowdown. There was a couple of hiccups here and there, but very minimal, and this was running at a steady 30 frames per second. Audio, the game has some nice backing tunes, keeping it nice and chilled. I felt like I was in a chill bar in Ibiza, the ones where you've done most of your partying at a club and then just want to relax, sipping a cocktail while the sun comes up. It's that type of vibe, and I thought it was perfect for this game. The one that did start to drive me nuts though was the sound that the cars make while drifting, and it's not so much because the sound is bad, it's just purely because you're doing it over and over and over again, and so that sound becomes old rather quickly. So that was the only sort of little bit of a turn off for me. In terms of value, the game is $17.99, £15.29, $17.99 in the EU, but these prices are with 10% off if you pre-order before the game drops on the 11th of September. If you want physical, then you can buy this from Game in the UK, and that's $29.99. Game is definitely the place to get your P-Cube games. They have quite a lot of day one editions of P-Cube stuff as well, so I recommend that if you can buy your games from there. For me, there's loads of replay value, especially with those leaderboards, ability to play locally and online, and there is options for those who want to play alone too, so there is something here for everyone. It will take you a while to collect 16 cars, and for more challenge, then there is that extra crispy mode to play too. And also not forgetting the extra car classes, which are faster the higher up you go. Before I get into my verdict, ladies and gentlemen, if you are new here, then consider subscribing for more reviews like this one. I liked Inertial Drift. It is a very technique-driven game, something where you need to practice a lot. It's unique in how it's implemented its control scheme. I don't think I've played another twin-stick racing game before, and for the most part, the game is very fun indeed. Sure, I would have loved to have raced against more people, and if that's what you're looking for, then there's another racer out this week which I hope to have a review of too. The game is solid in all departments, fun to play, nice audio and visuals, and decent value. Easy to recommend if you want an arcade racer that's a little bit different. A solid 8 out of 10 from me here at SwitchWatch. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you're still watching, then you're still supporting. Thank you so much to all of our members, subscribers, and of course those of you that support us just by watching this video. Would love to see you again though if you are new here, so consider subscribing for more reviews like this one. We also create a lot of lists where we release those at the weekends, usually telling you about all the great bargains on the Nintendo eShop or all of the physical games which are releasing on the Nintendo Switch. So please join us for that. Take care everyone, my name is Juan Romero. I'll see you again on the next one.